Hi guys, previously I've done a video on how to do the twirl effect in Photoshop. For this one everybody seemed to have a little bit of fun with it, and in order to prevent us from having to go through all of the steps each time we want to do the twirl effect on a photograph, we are going to create an action, so it's just going to be one click and the effect will be done. So for this we want to have the actions panel opened, and I'm going to click on the little folder down underneath the actions panel, and I'm going to name this YouTube videos and click OK. That's just creating a folder to put this in. There's the folder now is created. So now I want to create a new action. So we're going to create this new action and then follow the steps through. I want to click on this little plus, and I'm going to give this action the name of Twirl, and it's going to go into the YouTube's video. I don't want to assign the function key and I don't want to assign the color, so I'm now going to hit record. So everything I do from this moment on until I hit the stop button, you can see now I've got a little red button which is going to record every step I take from now on. So we have the image open here, and the first thing we want to do is, I'm not going to resize the image for this because this is only a small image. You do only want to have your image round about 2500 pixels, and then your computer can process it quite easily without struggling if you haven't got a really high speed machine. So for this instance I'm going to bypass that. If you want to know how to do that, go into a previous video that I've made. So the first thing I'm going to do is duplicate the background. So I either right click and say duplicate the layer and say OK, and then I'm going to right click on this new layer, and I'm going to say convert to smart object and select that, and now we can see that this layer is a smart object. The next thing I'm going to do is come up to filter, pixelate, down to mezzotint, and for this we're going to select the drop down box and select medium strokes and say OK. Now that looks like we've totally destroyed the image, but that's fine. This is exactly what we want. The next thing I am going to do, and apologies for that, that was my phone, is I'm going up to filter, blur and radial blur. This needs to be set at 100 and set onto zoom and good quality, and hit OK. Now we're getting somewhere. Yeah, I quite like that. So to get the quality that we need, we can do this another 2 or 3 times to suit. So I'll do it another 2 times, and because we've just previously used the radial filter, it's now at the top of the list, so I can just select the radial blur and the settings are there and hit OK. And we do the same again, filter, radial blur, keep the same settings and say OK. That's it. Now this is looking really good. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come back up to filter, I'm going to distort, and then down to twirl. I'm going to click this, and I want to first do this at -100. So I either type in the box or drag the slider to -100 and hit OK. Then I come down to look at the layers panel, and where it says twirl here at the little right hand side, I want to double click onto this little icon here, and this will bring up the blending modes box. I'm going to click on the drop down box and come down to lighten at 100% and say OK. I'm going to go back up to the filter, into the twirl filter again, and for this we want to do plus 100, so I'll just type in the box 100 and say OK. We do the same procedure again. We double click on this little right hand icon at the side of the twirl and select lighten mode and hit OK. So the next thing to do is we'll do some adjustment layers. The first one that we are going to do is a curves adjustment layer, and these you do just to suit with whatever you like. So we'll come down to the bottom of the layers panel here, and we'll have the little icon. We click on that and we select curves, and we just add a little contrast by dragging up the highlights and down a little bit on the shadows, just make a little less curve. And again, you can do this to suit, and then we can close this little box. We're going to come down and click on the adjustment layers again, and we're going to select vibrance, and this time we're just going to boost the vibrance to suit. I've got that about plus 40. Again, it's dependent on what you like. And we can close that. Now for this action, I think we'll click on the adjustment layers again, and we'll go to colour balance, and this is where you can shift the colour balance. I'm not too sure when you're creating an action whether this is advisable, but we'll just move the mid-tones slightly to the right a little bit, and then close that. So to create an action, it's probably advised not to do that very much. Now I like this the way it is, but you can go on and make a complete twirl and do another action, which I have detailed in my previous videos. But at this point in time, I'm just going to leave this action there and say I'm finished. So I come back up to the bottom of the actions panels, and I hit the stop, the little square box which says stop playing on the recording. So I hit the stop, and now the little red box is finished. So I have actually stopped recording there at that point. So in the previous videos that I did, we didn't duplicate the layer first when we started, because we were just going to apply the twirl effect to the actual image. But in this one, what we want to do, I created an extra layer, because what we want to do is we want to bring some of the original image back through. So I'm going to come down here onto the duplicated layer here, and I'm going to put a layer mask on that. So I'm going to just drag it down onto the layer mask. And now we have a layer mask here, and across at the left hand side we want to paint with the black brush. So we're going to hit the X key to swap the brushes over, and I'm going to come on and think about where the castle was in this image, and it was round about here. So I'm going to paint, and I've got my opacity down to about 16 to 20% and the flow down to 17%, and I'm just going to brush across on the image, and you can see that the castle is just starting to pop through here. If I wanted to, I can increase the opacity if I want to make this come through a little bit stronger, and I can increase the flow a little bit. Obviously, if you want to take a little bit more time over this, you can keep your flow and your opacity down low and find an image that this technique will really suit. And we just brush away there until we have the castle showing through, and you could take more time and literally go around the edges of the castle until you've just got it popping through. And I'm just going to hit the X key and paint a little bit of this back in so we don't see the original image popping through. Yeah, and I'm happy with that. Let the X key again and paint a little bit back over the castle and make that pop through. So there we are. Then we can produce an image where the original image is popping through, and I hope you enjoy this. I'll show you one more step if I just bring another image in. So if I look up at the top, I've got another image here. If I just click onto this image and we want to run that twirl effect action onto this image, if I just bring this box over here so we can see what we're doing here, and I've got my YouTube actions and I've got my twirl action, twirl 1 here. If I hit play now with that action highlighted, you can see now I've got a duplicated layer and it's created the smart object, and it's going to run through all of those actions, and hopefully we will have a twirl image at the end of it. Just give that a moment to run through. Shouldn't take too long. I should have some music playing in the background for this bit. There we go. Just one press of one button and we have the image that we require. And you can see we've got the 2 layers here. You could just click onto this layer now if you wanted to bring the tine bridge through, and come over onto a brush, and you'd have to then come down and create a layer mask with a black brush, and I'll just use the right bracket key to make the brush a little bit bigger, and then I can just start painting here and bringing through some of that underlying image. There we are. Wonderful. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.